Well, yesterday happened, huh? What's up, Fin fans? So, making this video because a ton of news came out after yesterday's Patriots win, which means Brian Flores is going to have to wait literally 2 more weeks to become the Dolphins head coach. All the signs keep pointing towards he's going to be the head coach. All the signs keep pointing towards he is the guy. So what I'm hearing is that, they're going to give him another interview this week because they have to wait 2 weeks for stuff to happen. So they're going to give him another interview, and in that interview, they're going to commit to him. They're essentially going to say, you're our next head coach. They're probably going to make it public, like Brian Flores, as soon as he's done, is our next head coach. But in that interview, they're going to talk to him about, who does he want as offensive and defensive coordinator, which I have some news on that. Who does he want player personnel-wise? What is his scheme? What is this? What is that? So they know, and Greer knows what his mindset's at, so they can start moving without him. Because obviously he can't do anything until after the Super Bowl, unfortunately. So some news that was brought to my attention. Obviously, we all know that there's rumors around that Caldwell is going to be hired. Now, a lot of people were upset about that, saying that he sucks. But he's not going to be, what I'm hearing is he's not going to be hired as the offensive coordinator. He's going to be hired as the head coach assistant and quarterback coach is what I'm hearing. That could change to head coach assistant and offensive coordinator, but as of right now, it's head coach assistant and quarterback coach. They also want to keep Darren Rizzi. He's still in contract with the Miami Dolphins. They've given him permission to seek employment other places if he wants to, but they would like to keep Darren Rizzi as the special teams coach. So there is that. He's technically, like I said, he's under contract, so they have first rights to him. So they'd like to keep him if he doesn't get a better offer or a different position with somebody else. And then today, from Adam Schefter, tweeted out that the Dolphins are going to hire Packers linebacker and run game coordinator Patrick Graham as their defensive coordinator. So the reason why this is probably going to happen is because Patrick Graham was with the Patriots 2009 to 2015, and obviously he was with Flores at that time on the Patriots. So if that's the new defensive coordinator, I think this team is going to be filled with a bunch of unknowns, a bunch of first-time head coach, coordinators, all this stuff that I don't see how they could be successful. But I could be wrong because there was a ton of first-timers that did really well. But as of right now, Patrick Graham supposedly is going to be the Dolphins' new defensive coordinator. Now, Patrick Graham, when it comes to NFL experience, he first debuted 2009 as the defensive coach assistant with the New England Patriots. Was with them until 2015, like I said, but his position changed from defensive coach assistant to defense to linebackers coach, defensive line coach, back to linebackers coach. Then he went to the Giants, where he was the defensive line coach, and then this past season he's with the Packers as, like I said, linebacker coach and run game coordinator. I don't know. I don't know if he's ever called plays on defense. I don't know if, when he was a linebackers coach in 2011 or 2014 to 2015, he called plays like Brian Flores does today. But it seems like Flores is just bringing over dudes that he knows from the Patriots. I don't know how I feel about it. I like Brian Flores. The more I'm looking into him, and the more I'm seeing who he is. But when it comes to I just don't know at this point, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking me what are my thoughts on it, how do I feel about it, or a lot of you guys are going to hate it, love it. I notice a lot of you guys don't like the fact of the Patriots are literally coming to South Florida and going to try to coach the Dolphins. I don't know at this point. I don't know much about Patrick Graham. I didn't know much about Brian Flores when he was first interviewed. But Caldwell, I like that because he's being the assistant head coach. He's been a head coach before. He succeeded as a head coach. He's failed as a head coach. So he knows what to do and what not to do, so he can help Flores in that aspect. Darren Rizzi I'd like to keep, and there's the potential to keep him. Patrick Graham, and then we need to see what the Dolphins are going to do with offensive coordinator. But, you know, as of right now, this is what's going on. Again, we won't know things. We won't know if things are definite until after the Super Bowl, when people start to get signed with Flores. But he can't even evaluate the roster. He can't do anything until after the Super Bowl. So I think that's why they're going to bring him in for a second interview, so they can pick his brain and see, like, what does he want to do, like what his plans are, all that stuff. So comment below, let me know what you guys think about, you know, about Patrick Graham being the new defensive coordinator, about Caldwell coming in as the head coach / quarterback assistant. Let me know what you guys think about the fact that Flores is going to have to, we're going to have to wait another 2 weeks to get our head coach. I don't really see that as a problem. There's still the combine. There's still other stuff that can be done. Things are already in place, and a lot of assistants on like the Bengals also have to wait for their head coach, because Zach Taylor is the quarterback's coach for the Rams, who also was the quarterback's coach for Ryan Tannehill his rookie season. So they got to wait for their coach. So I don't see it as a horrible thing. I don't see it as, oh my God, we have to wait. All these coordinators, all these people are going to be scooped up and everything, because there's still a ton of good coaches that are out there that we could get as coordinators. So comment below, let me know what you guys think about what's going on with the Dolphins, about all the moves that are happening. Let me know what you guys think about the Super Bowl. Speaking of comments, I'm going to get to one of your comments of the day, and this one's going to come from Twitter, and this one comes from Peerless Curse, and he says to me, do you think the Dolphins D-line is horrible because of the big runs they gave up, or was it because of the wide nine that allows big gaps in the D-line? I honestly think the reason why the defensive line it was so horrid was because of combination of things. I think it's because the wide nine is absolutely horrible and didn't help anyone with the huge gaps in between the players. But the wide nine was mostly called on certain plays, like pass plays and stuff. I don't think it was really called on run defense. I think it had to do with that, the scheme. I think it had to do with play calling, why the defensive line was so bad, because a lot of times they would try to drop back people and confuse the offensive line when it wouldn't work. They would try to do all these things that it just wasn't working. And then I also think the reason the D-line was absolutely horrible was because, and this is the most important, talent. We had Ziggy Hood in there. You know, we had to bring 2 defensive linemen off the street, and some of the defensive linemen they brought off the street weren't even that good. Like, I don't understand why they didn't bring in Langford. Langford was established that he can stop the run and he can, you know, get those gaps. Because I've said this in videos in the past, you have, when it comes to the defensive line, you have to, especially the defensive tackles, take on multiple blocks. If you don't take on multiple blocks, you have a hat on a hat. Then for the offensive line, you have that one extra guy who can get to the second level and block the linebackers and then make the creases and make the holes for the running backs to run. You need to be able to take on multiple blocks. That was the thing that Ndamukong Suh was really good at when he was with the Dolphins. I know the run defense sucked with him. If you notice, a lot of times they would have to double him and then try to get one-on-ones, but it just so happened that back at that time, our linebackers were caca and couldn't do anything. Not saying they're any better now. So when it comes to the defensive line, I think it was a whole rounded thing. It was talent, scheme, and play calling. But yeah, at this point, this defensive line needs to be completely redone. The offensive line doesn't need to be completely redone, because you have Laramie Tunsil. They have to decide on Juwan James if they want to pay him $9 million a year, because he's gonna, if he hits the open market, he's going to be a hot commodity. He's going to be a top right tackle in the free agency. But they need to sit in his old and injury prone. They're going to keep him. They have him for 2 years. I think Kilgore, he had 1 year, but they have to decide on him. They need to shore up the interior line of the Dolphins, both offense and defense. And, you know, it's a rebuild. And that's why it's a rebuild, because both offense and defensive lines need to be rebuilt, because they were that hot garbage. But thank you for the question, Peerless. Again, you hit me up on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I tweeted out all day yesterday while watching the games, calling some of those BS flags, some of the BS flags that weren't called. You know, talking about the game and how bad the Chiefs couldn't stop the Patriots when they were running the same plays half the time. How the Rams and Saints game was what's coming down to the wire. So be sure to follow me on Twitter. Follow my second channel, The Bit Boys. We play video games every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That schedule might change up a little bit. We're also going to start Twitch streaming. Let me know also below if you guys want me personally to start Twitch streaming more. I could open up a Twitch and then start streaming there with Dolphin stuff. Maybe even play Madden on there on my own. So comment below, let me know if you want me to personally start doing Twitch streams. But I'm not going to stop doing YouTube streams because this is where it all started, and I am who I am because of you guys, so I'm not going anywhere. Don't you worry, your pretty little face. Give this video a thumbs up because things are starting to matriculate. Things are starting to get more into picture, more into focus. We're starting to see who our coaches are going to be. We're starting. The ball is moving. So give this video a thumbs up for that. Give this video a thumbs up because you enjoyed it. You enjoyed me giving you your news, hot fresh from the source. This is a hot fresh because I'm editing this, but you know what I mean. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I tell you guys all the time I have a ton of stuff planned for you guys. Like I said, as soon as he gets hired, video. His press conference, video. His coordinators are signed, video. I got video on top free agents. I got video on top prospects. I got videos galore. So be sure to subscribe. Even if you're not a Dolphins fan, subscribe because I'm going to be talking about when it comes to free agency, who's getting signed, the big moves, all that stuff. So I will see you guys real soon. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.